Bruh, bruh, bruh. Well, hey there, everybody. It is time to take another look at the Steam Autumn Sale, and this time we're looking at games under $2. So let's kick it off. 100% Orange Juice. This is the silliest, weirdest board game that you will ever play. It has online multiplayer. It's fun to play with other people. And basically, you go around, fight ducks, collect stars, kind of. And there are cards that have different effects, and there are different squares that bring about different effects. And you're just trying to make your way around the board, get as many stars as you can, drop them off at your signpost, and whoever gets there first wins the game. Gets the most stars deposited at their numbered signpost. Anyway, there's a whole thing. It gets crazy, and it's very, very fun. Yeah, there's like a dice rolling turn-based battler in there as well, which is it's very fun, very silly, very fast-paced, and interesting. Is the 100% Orange Juice. It is 75% off at $1.74, and very fun game. Aces of the Luftwaffe Squadron. This is one of my very favorite shooters on Steam. I do compare it with the Skyforce games because it is right there. Like, the Skyforce games are my number 1 and number 2 ranked shooters of all time. And as far as shooters on Steam go, this is my number 3. This is right after those in line. It looks good. It plays well. Nobody ever talks about this game, and that's probably why it is in this category and not asking for more money, because it could. The Skyforce games almost never go on sale, and yeah, this one does. So if you're looking for a good vertical shooter, Aces of the Luftwaffe Squadron, it is 87% off at $1.94. So it's a good pickup. Alex Kidd in Miracle World. This is an old Sega Master System game. Come on now. There, ooh, I paused it. All right. Yeah, that has been remastered to look awesome and to play well and to be just as much fun as the original and carrying the spirit of that original, but also with a new updated look, which is fun. I own this not just on Steam, I own it on the Switch as well. And yeah, you can play the original version of the game as well, so it's on there for you to play. If you want to be the old school purist, you can play this version. If you want to be the more updated modern look, you can play this version. They're both really fun, really well worth it. It's 90% off at $1.99. Oop. Alien Shooter. This one is a classic. Goes all the way back to the early days of Windows gaming. And so, yes, are the graphics a little old? Is it kind of fun that your dude, like, the top half of him swivels, and so he can get the whole, like, you know, backwards butt from Spaceballs kind of a deal going on? Yeah, he swivels like a G.I. Joe. That's part of the charm of the game. This is a relentless isometric shooter. You know I love my isometric shooters, and this is one of the all-timers in that category. Very beloved is this game. There are other alien shooter games on Steam. They are not all of equal quality, say the fans of the games. I haven't played them all. I have played this one, and it is excellent. So I do recommend a pickup of Alien Shooter. It is 70% off at $1.49. Next up, Asterix and Obelix XXL. Now, despite not being European, somehow my siblings and I grew up on the Asterix cartoons. Not the comic books, for those of you who are true European OGs. But yeah, these are... Asterix and Obelix are some of the most beloved characters in European cartoons, just across the board. And so this game features those characters, and you don't have to have seen the series to know. But yeah, it's a really good, like, action platformery beat 'em up, which is super fun. Yeah, you get to do a lot of cool things. There's like collectathon stuff and plenty of beat 'em up fun. Is a good time. All of these games, all 3 of them are on sale right now. Yeah, this one is 90% off at $1.99. There's a bundle if you want to get all 3 games. I already have all 3 games, so I have no idea what that bundle costs. Battlezone 98 Redux. Yeah, here we go on this one. Battlezone 98 Redux. So Battlezone, the classic space shooter, vector-based space shooter. If you remember the old arcade machines, just gorgeous things. Anyway, yeah, they updated this game. They made it better, cooler. I remember when this came out, it was awesome. And yeah, it remains so. The graphics are a little long in the tooth, but you know what? The gameplay is solid. It is still that classic Battlezone that you know and love. And yeah, if you enjoy Battlezone at all, if you enjoy tank shooters, because that's what this game is at heart, is a tank shooter, it is 90% off at $1.99. Binding of Isaac, this is an indie classic, so much so that they don't even have gameplay footage. Are you serious, my friend? Do you want to sell game or not? Basically, The Binding of Isaac, you are a kid who makes it through this, dungeon crawling, twin stick shooting adventure, and you do it by shooting everyone with your tears because you're just the saddest little kid, and you just cry yourself to killing everyone in this. It's kind of like weirdly violent and even a little bit weirdly scary. Oh, and it's a roguelike. Yeah, procedurally generated, so it's never the same way twice. Very cool game. 78% off at $1.09. Like that ska band, $1.09. Nobody remembers ska bands called $1.09. Anyway, I do. Castle Crashers, the classic Castle Crashers. Very cool game, very fun to play as a multiplayer experience, which you can play with up to 4 players, online multiplayer. This game is super silly. Yeah, made by the same people who made Alien Hominid, obviously, very similar art style, and it's just fun. It's just a fun game, and that's all there is to it. And so, yeah, I've put a fair number of hours into this game, both solo and multiplayer, so it's one of those games that is just, it's good to have in your collection. Castle Crashers is 90% off at $1.49, and they used to sell it in 4-packs. Who knows? Maybe they will again someday. But at $1.49, you can just buy 4 copies, send them to your friends, enjoy it, have fun with it. It's a really fun experience. Circle Empires is a really cool RTS. In that it's simple. It's very simple and straightforward. You don't have to do all of this like RTS lore. There's not like lengthy cutscenes and whatnot. You don't have to worry as much about like economics. The economics of it are not as worrisome. It is strategy still. You have to, take over the adjoining circles, leave occupying forces, not overextend yourself, build up your troops from your home base, that kind of stuff. And you can set up gameplay for as many other circles as you want. It could be like 4 circles where you start in one and you've got to take over 3. Or it could be like, 32 circles where, it's a big old empire that you got to take over and manage. And that gets increasingly difficult the more spread out you get. So you can have a real RTS experience that doesn't force you to do too much. So if you are an RTS fan, this will be basically casual gaming for you. If you're not a super RTS person, this can be, it's not without its guts. It does go pretty hard if you need it to. But for the most part, it can be as simple as you need it to be, which is the real beauty of the game. Simple as you need it, complicated as you need it, and you just manage your way through it. Setting up the game as complicated or as simply as you like, which is really impressive for an RTS. 80% off at $1.79. And next we have Darkest Dungeon. What are you doing down here, Darkest Dungeon? Oh, that's right. Some people don't like you because your RNG makes the game really, really hard. Yeah. Some people, I think, does it have a Souls-like designation? Because if it does, okay, I was going to say if it does, then Souls-like literally just means really hard. It is a hard game, not going to lie. You do have to manage the sanity of all of your characters as you go through this dungeon. And yeah, it's a journey. It's difficult. It's fascinating. It's a really well-made dungeon crawler that's really, really hard. Presents a solid challenge. Anyway, it's 92% off at $1.99. All right, what is next? Let's see. Dreaming Sarah. This is a Metroidvania that is unlike any other Metroidvania I've ever seen, in that the point is not ever to kill anyone. It's to explore this really strange world that is both very similar to, there's like upside downish vibes. This really strange world, and to figure out what's happening and why. And it's a really fascinating game and very cool to explore. And like I say, it's not about like, oh, go stomp on that enemy or whatever. It's a very different approach to gameplay, very experiential. 70% off at $1.79. Oh, somebody pointed out that, yes, my friend Obey the Fist recommends against this game, which is funny. Let me just address this really quick for those who don't know. Obey the Fist is the all-time champion of identifying asset flips. This game is not an asset flip. He's not a huge fan of pixel art, and he's very, very much a purist about the type of games that he enjoys. So I have much looser standards for what I enjoy than he does. That's just a difference between us. But when it comes to asset flips, he and I are exactly on par. But you'll see it all the time. There are games where I'm like, I love this game, and he'll be like, I recommend no. But like, look, very positive, say the couple thousand people who have played it. So yeah, it is a good game. It's just Obey the Fist doesn't like it. You can read his review. He's always honest about what he doesn't like about a game, and he's more often than not got a point. But yeah, anyway, Duke Nukem, the 20th anniversary 3D World Tour, Duke Nukem 3D World Tour 20th anniversary edition. Yeah, this is the Duke Nukem 3D that you remember, a 90s classic. Yes, it is. Yes, it very much is. And it is exactly the game that you have played and enjoyed, the game that you love and think is awesome, and it has all of the stuff. Yeah, it's got that in it. You know that one part that you're like, oh, it was so scandalous back in the day and now it's kind of nothing. Yep, totally in there. Anyway, so yeah, it's all the glory of the original game. The original that set the stage for so many boomer shooters to come. And so yeah, if you enjoy boomer shooters, this is the granddaddy of all like boomer shooters with, that part right there, with an inappropriate sense of humor. It is 90% off at $1.99. Let's see. Oh, that's right. I had to verify my age on that one. Flatout 2. Flatout 2 is a little bit long in the tooth for a driving game, having come out in 2006, getting close to 20 years old. But here's the thing about Flatout 2 is that the racing is pretty good. But there is a mode in this game where it's all these mini games, and a lot of them involve like shooting your driver through the front windshield and seeing how high you can throw him, how far you can throw him, how many cool things you can do as he's flipping out of the front windshield. It's a pretty crazy game. It's very fun. Like I say, the racing is solid, but what really makes it fun are those mini games. Anybody who's ever played this will tell you that. Anyway, it's 80% off at $1.99. Gato Roboto is a really great Metroidvania in which, simple black and white graphics. Yes, that is true. So it has a certain Game Boyish feel. But the really cool thing about this game is that you are a scientist who has developed a super suit, like a Samus's suit from Metroid, basically, that can pick up a lot of abilities over the course of the game, thus unlocking the Metroidvania aspect of the game. And you as the scientist, you have to guide your cat through this. I mean, you play as the cat, but every now and again you'll get updates from the scientist who's like, all right, kitty, this is what you got to be doing. And it's very fun because little blaster master, because you can get out of the suit and go do stuff, and indeed have to get out of the suit for certain things, but then you're much more vulnerable out of the suit. It's really well designed and very, very fun, very positive, says most people. It's a Devolver Digital game, if that helps sell it. They publish quality. There's a lot of Devolver stuff that's on sale right now, so yeah, if you like you some Devolver, we'll go get some. Anyway, 85% off at $1.19. Glorkian Warrior: The Trials of Glork. This is essentially Galaga, but silly, and just as good in terms of the actual shooting. The shooting in this game is really, really well done. Great shooting action, but also, like, the game is constantly changing on the fly. There are all sorts of different characters who will come along and be like, okay, everything is tennis balls, or everything is cake, or whatever. And yeah, there's a lot to watch out for as you are playing this game, and all of the NPCs make fun of you every time you die. It's very silly, very fun, and it's an excellent, Galaga-like game with a ton of different weapons, ton of power-ups, and nobody ever listens to me. This game is so much fun. I just want people to play it and be like, you know what, you're right, that is a very fun game. So if you like Galaga, this is one to give a shot to. It is 60% off at $1.59. Goat Simulator. Goat Simulator simulates all of the fun of being goat and causing chaos and Satan worshipping and all that sort of stuff. Well, if you can find it, those aspects are hidden, and yeah, if you play long enough, you will find them. It's a very fun, very silly game that is all about just causing mayhem, and you play as a goat who just goes through this town and wrecks everything and makes all the things explode. It's super fun. It's way more fun than you'd think if you've never played it, and if you have played it, then you already know that I speak truth, that this is a very fun game, very silly, very awesome, and it is 80% off at $1.99. Hacknet. Hacknet is a special game. Not everybody is going to get it. Not everybody is going to enjoy it. But basically, this simulates the early days of hacking. Is it exactly what hacking was like back in the day? No, not exactly. Is it as bad as that Sandra Bullock movie about hacking? No, nothing is that bad. But no, this game is excellent. There's a great story. It's very fascinating. The interface is really easy to learn, but it makes you feel like a total hacker when you get things right and if you start figuring things out. And this whole thing is, there's mystery and intrigue and whatnot. And yeah, that's not blue screen of death for me. That's blue screen of death for you in the game. And it'll throw you for a loop. This game, if you give it a chance and you can stick with it, if you've got a good attention span and you enjoy hacker type stuff, my goodness, this is a game that you would absolutely enjoy. It is 85% off at $1.49, and really a great experience. Hi hell, this game is a silly goose. I mean, first of all, yes, these like cel-shaded graphics are awesome looking, and the high contrast, emphasis on red, black, and white as the color scheme of most of the things. Yeah, it's very fun and very silly. And yeah, you're going to face off against some mind-controlled monkeys. You're going to fight the devil himself, and he is, selling cocaine and whatnot. Like, it's a whole thing. There's all kinds of really crazy stuff that you're going to do. And it's really fun because every mission, when it ends, you just jump off the roof and parachute to safety. And there's really nothing quite like this game. It is very much like, hey, do you want to be your own action movie hero in a very silly action type game? See, yeah, you jump off, you parachute to safety. Hi hell, it's a lot of fun. It's 80% off at $1.99. Hey, Hotline Miami is one of the most beloved top-down shooters. It is wildly violent. Oh look, another Devolver Digital game, because yes, they make excellent things. Anyway, this game is just top-down shootery mayhem. Non-stop violence. If Quentin Tarantino could make a top-down shooter, this would pretty much be it. pretty much. That's the vibe. That is the vibe of the game. It is very beloved, very fun. You have to be okay with just over-the-top violence, but who isn't? I mean, come on. We all know that video games don't cause violence. What causes violence is systemic oppression over long periods of time, and when people reach an ignition point, well, revolution. Oh, see? He's not much for the pixel art games. I'm just telling you, 80% off at $1.99. He can say what he wants, but overwhelmingly positive, yeah, that's what most people think of this. He's the outlier on a lot of these. The Incredible Adventures of Van Helsing, this one and The Incredible Adventures of Van Helsing 2 are the same price right now. These are really, really good Diablo clones. These are buckle hat games, so you've got your Grim Dawn, which I already featured in another one of these videos. There's the Victor Varan, which I don't believe is on sale right now, and then The Incredible Adventures of Van Helsing, where all three of those protagonists are dudes with pilgrim hats who cover their faces so that you don't really see what they look like. But you got your red over here, your blue over here. Guess which one's health? Guess which one's mana? Yes, the Diablo-like is very much real. We never talk about it as a genre, and yet there are literally hundreds of entries in the Diablo-like genre. And this is a really good one. And I've had a lot of fun playing it. And so, yes, it is 90% off at $1.49. There are, 90% off at $7.49. You can get all of the Van Helsing games, which would be 1, 2, and then the director's cut. Yeah. Those of you who are enjoying seeing him vote against every game that I'm recommending, well, there we go. If he votes against this one, well, I don't know what to say. My wife loves Islanders. Islanders is one of the all-timers in terms of casual puzzling. Basically, you have these different structures that you are building on these islands, and placement of them is key. If you place certain things next to other things, it'll take away some points. If you put certain things next to other things, it will optimize the points. And so you have to really figure out, how do I build this society on this island in an optimized way so that everything runs smoothly. I get as many points as possible without losing very many points. And like I say, my wife has poured hours and hours into this game because it is super chill, puzzly type of business. It is 75% off at $1.24. Let's see. Oh, he did not review it, so that means it's definitely good. Yeah. Anyway, Luftrausers. Luftrausers, surprise, surprise, another Devolver Digital game, but this one is a very cool shooter. It has very simplistic graphics, as you can see, but the controls are tight, and it is a punishing and indeed unforgiving shooter. You really have to learn it. You have to optimize your aircraft, and as you make it through level after level, you get to power yourself up, and it's really, really cool like that. Yeah, just a really interesting shooter that is kind of unlike it's like if combat for the Atari 2600 were so much better basically. And it is 80% off at $1.99. Hey friend, what are you doing here? Yeah, Psychonauts. Yeah, this is a friend of mine. This is his favorite game of all time. And it's a really cool concept. I mean, this game goes back a long ways. It's been around for a while, so graphically, it's not going to blow your mind. But in terms of, because yeah, Psychonauts, you are like making your way through people's brains, and it gets pretty crazy in there. And the main character he's a strange little man. And so it's a strange experience, but a very fun and interesting experience with a lot of kooky characters and a lot of interesting gameplay along the way. There's a reason why a lot of people love this game, and a lot of people will tell you it's one of their favorites. So yeah, 80% off at $1.99 is the Psychonauts. Slime Rancher. This is one that everyone in my family has played except me. I need to get around to playing it at some point. I will get around to playing it at some point. But it's a very cute game in which you are ranching slimes, you know? And you go around with your little gun, you collect slimes, you use the slimes to do various different things in the world. And so there are elements of puzzling. There are, it's a fair bit of resource collection and world building and all that kind of stuff in a really, really cute package that is overwhelmingly positively reviewed. And it is 90% off at $1.99. And look who recommends it. Haha, there you go. What better stamp of approval could you want than that? Splasher. This is another game that is a favorite among my children. This one, basically, you work in a paint factory, and you find out that Soylent Green is people, essentially, and so you steal this jetpack that shoots paint, and the red paint is sticky, helps you stick to walls. The yellow paint is bouncy, and the water washes off the paint. And so between adding and removing paint from the various surfaces, you move around this world in really cool and interesting ways. It's a really, really inventive platformer that, begs to be speedrun if you are capable, but even if you're like me and you are not capable of speedrunning it, there is a lot of fun to be had here. There's some really, really interesting platforming, and it's a really, really nice experience. 90% off at $1.49. Yeah, my child watching me recommend that game and being like, yes, tell them, Father, it's good. That's what you said, right? Yep, 2 thumbs up. That's definitely what happened. Anyway, Steamworld Dig 2. Yeah, the Steamworld games are excellent, and the only 2 Steamworld games that are in any way similar are Steamworld Dig and Steamworld Dig 2. This is kind of Boulder Dashy, but also roguelike-ish, and, well, roguelite-ish if you accept the premise that there can be a roguelite in which improving your character over time is the difference. I don't know. There are debates about whether or not that should even be a term that matters. I frankly don't care one way or the other. It's just a way of describing what the game does. But a lot of really cool stuff that you can do in this game. It is, taking that simple Boulder Dash concept from way back when and just, really, really finding out what you can do with it. And turns out a whole bunch, because this is the second of the Steamworld Digs. It is 90% off at $1.99. And don't worry, I will also recommend the Steamworld Dig, the first game, but it's going to be in a different video. Guess which one? It's not this one, it's the other one. But Steamworld Heist. Yeah, if we can get it. There we go. Steamworld Heist is... so many of the Steamworld games are very different. Like I say, the 2 Steamworld Digs are the only ones that are like each other. This one is, as the name implies, heisty. But it's also like this turn-based tactical shooter with like stealth elements and stuff. Yeah, it's a whole thing. And so it plays a little bit like, those gorillas throwing bananas games from QBasic, if you remember that back in the day. Yeah, it's kind of like that, but so much more so. And if you haven't noticed the theme, I do love old gameplay styles that are given new updates and where people find cool new things to do with an older gameplay style. And yeah, see, overwhelmingly positive, says pretty much everybody. 93% off at $1.04 is the Steamworld Heist, and it's a really cool concept. It plays really well. Stick Fight the game. This is a silly game to play with friends because you just get dropped into these levels where the level might kill you, and then you also have weapons getting dropped, and they're crazy weapons like, ones that shoot snakes and whatnot, and all kinds of different crazy weapons and environments that are going to try and kill you in a wide variety of ways. And so sometimes the levels can be really short. Sometimes they can go a little longer depending on how long everybody stays alive. And it gets increasingly difficult to stay alive over time. This is a very fun one to play party style with friends, and it is easy to do so with online modes. It's very positively reviewed, and look who recommends against. Not surprising. 60% off at $1.99. Strikey Sisters. This is another one of those ones where it's like, take the simple concept and then see what you can do that's cool with an old gaming concept. And so you'll immediately recognize that this is like Breakout or Arkanoid, those type of games, but it's also got RPG elements. And so that makes it really, really interesting because you're, both brick breaking and also RPGing, which is really fun and interesting. And I don't know of other games that also do this except for that one on the SNES whose name I am forgetting, but it does a similar thing. It's like the only other one in the world that I can think of, except for I can't think of its name. So yeah, yell at me in the comments, be like, hey, that's what it's called, smart guy, acting like you know video games. Anyway, Super Amazing Wagon Adventure. This game is made to look like an Atari 2600 game, and also made to remind you very much of Oregon Trail, except for it's a horizontal shooter. And so, remember how when you played Oregon Trail, many's the time that, like, you would go hunting and just kill way more food than you needed, and you feel bad, but like the hunting was the most fun part of the whole game. Yeah, well, this is like that. It is an Oregon Trail-ish type game where the shooting is the point, and you're just going to kill lots and lots and lots of things, and the deaths are going to be hilarious and awesome, and it's a silly goose of a game. Very fun, very funny. 66% off at $1.01. And last but not least, in the under $2 category, is yet another really cool take on a classic game. This time, it's Pong. And yes, Pong is like one of the simplest, oldest things that you can have, but this is, as you can see, an entirely different concept, because it's a little more like Warlords, if you've ever played that on the Atari 2600. It's very similar to that. You are protecting your crystal instead of a flag, which is what you protect in Warlords, but you have all these different characters, and they have their different power-ups and things. It adds a lot of really interesting wrinkles to this classic gameplay. There is a story mode. I beat it in one sitting. That's, it's not a tremendously deep game, but it is a fun game. And so, yeah, you can beat it pretty easily. It's not that hard to beat the CPU levels, but they do get increasingly difficult over time, and it's really fun and fascinating. So, yeah, really cool idea with a classic gameplay style. 85% off at $1.49. Hey, friend. All right, that is going to do it for our games under $2. Don't worry, I also have a games under $1 category, which is coming right up. So as soon as this video goes up, I will be recording this one. As soon as that one goes up, I will be indexing all of the videos so that you can find games more easily. But thank you for being here for these, everybody, and I will see you in the next one, the under $1 category. Okay, bye.